Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you all for coming out for this celebration. It's an exciting expansion of vaccine access here in Cook County. Cook is not only the most populous county in Illinois, but the second most populous county in the entire country. And while roughly half of Cook's residents live in the city of Chicago, which has its own vaccine allocation from the federal government, my team and I continue to build out a robust mass vaccination infrastructure here in Cook County that's open to all eligible Illinois residents. I'm proud to be here today with so many dignitaries. Brigadier General James Silvasi, Chief of Staff of the Illinois Air National Guard, Guard Task Force 1 Commander Major David Sanford, Cook County President Tony Preckwinkle, Forest Park Mayor Rory Hoskins, and Cook County Commissioners Brandon Johnson and Dennis Deere. And we're all here to announce another Illinois National Guard operation right here at the former Hobo store in Forest Park. I want to give a big shout out to Speaker Chris Welch, who was a critical partner in advocating for this location and making sure that these life-saving vaccines are as accessible as possible for Cook County residents. This also would not have been possible without the collaboration of Senate Majority Leader Kim Lightford and Representative LaShawn Ford. And I hope that you'll all give all of the dignitaries behind me a big round of applause. Starting Friday, this location, which will be able to administer up to 1,000 doses per day at launch and then over 2,000 soon after, and it will serve as yet another mass vaccination site open to all eligible residents, no matter their zip code. With ample parking and close proximity to communities hit hardest by the COVID-19 pandemic, this site will play a critical role in our continued efforts to vaccinate our most vulnerable residents, such as those with pre-existing conditions. Since day one, our Illinois COVID-19 vaccination plan has been an all-hands-on-deck effort. And as the national supply has expanded, so too has the number of locations that Illinoisans can get vaccinated at. Most importantly, we are expanding this network with laser focus on equity and accessibility, prioritizing locations in communities hit hardest by the COVID-19 pandemic. With this location in Forest Park, we have now strategically established 3 of our largest mass vaccination sites open to all eligible Illinoisans at Tinley Park in the southwest, this location in the western suburbs, and Des Plaines in the northwest, meaning that our highest density Cook and Collier County communities all have a convenient state-supported option for getting vaccinated. Of course, that's just 3 of our 5 total state-supported large mass vaccination sites in Cook County, with another 9 around the state, including just announced locations in DuPage and Kane counties. And there are still more to come. On top of our state-supported mass vaccination sites, our Illinois National Guard is also running 3 additional types of vaccination missions across the state, furthering our ability to target specific regions and populations. And I look forward to announcing additional operations in the coming weeks, including first, we have our mobile teams administering vaccine to historically underserved communities. We currently have 20 Illinois National Guard mobile teams in Cook, Lake, DeKalb, McHenry, St. Clair, Jackson, Sangamon, Madison, Winnebago, Rock Island, McLean, Grundy, Vermilion, and the southern 7 counties. And we expanded that operation here in Cook by taking personnel from smaller sites and redirecting them to equity-focused mobile teams that can deploy into communities across the county. We also have an additional 7 targeted state sites improving the vaccination rates of certain counties such as the Lake County Fairgrounds, as well as the federal operation at the United Center. And we're expanding access in our rural counties through one-stop single-shot Johnson & Johnson clinics, a collaboration between the Illinois National Guard and our local health departments. Today, that clinic is operating in Clay County with over 700 appointments and will visit other parts of Illinois, including Edwards, Lawrence, Cumberland, Stevenson, and Edgar counties in the coming days. The men and women of the Illinois National Guard have been leaders in the COVID-19 response, and I want to thank them for their work keeping the people of Illinois safe during this pandemic. And again, let's give our Illinois National Guard a big round of applause. One of those guardsmen that's serving the people of Illinois is Sergeant Paul Bourne of the 5th Civil Support Team, a Eureka, Illinois resident who has been involved with setting up many of our National Guard vaccination sites around the state, including here in Cook County. Not only does Sergeant Bourne have an exemplary record with the Guard, receiving the 2015 Soldier of the Year award, but he is an active leader in his civilian community as a high school girls soccer coach. I also want to recognize Staff Sergeant Lisette Rosas, who works on our mobile operations. Studying to be a social worker in her civilian life, Sergeant Rosas has trained nearly 800 service members in vaccination administration in her second activation during the COVID-19 pandemic. Sergeant Bourne and Staff Sergeant Rosas and their fellow Illinois National Guard soldiers who are vaccinating residents in every corner of the state make us so incredibly proud. And over the weekend, our Guard alone surpassed 500,000 shots administered. That's outstanding. Bourne and Rosas are here today along with their fellow soldiers. And again, I want to thank them and thank the entire Illinois National Guard for making the state of Illinois so proud and for doing their duty and truly keeping people safe and healthy. Thanks to our exemplary Guard, the 900 vaccination sites across the state, and the great work of our 97 local public health departments and healthcare professionals, Illinois has administered now over 4.7 million doses of the life-saving COVID-19 vaccines. So far, nearly 1 in 3 adult residents already has been vaccinated, including more than 64% of our seniors 65 and over. That's amazing progress. And we'll be making even greater strides when we're able to open up vaccine appointments like those available here at the state-supported mass vac sites in Cook County to all adults starting April 12th. Also, as of today, higher education staff, government workers, and media are also eligible to make appointments, rounding out the prioritization of our most vulnerable and at-risk groups before we reach universal eligibility 3 weeks from now. Illinois has made great progress to date in saving lives and ending this pandemic, and I'll deploy every available resource to get the entire state over the finish line as quickly as possible. And in the meantime, I encourage all Illinoisans to mask up, keep helping each other out, and we will get through this together. Thank you, and with that, I'd like to turn it over to an incredible leader who is already making great strides forward on behalf of the people of Illinois in his new position as the new Speaker of the Illinois House, Chris Welch. Mr. Speaker.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you. Good morning to our mayors from Proviso Township and River Forest Township, our commissioners. I think we got them all here. We can have a Board of Commissioners meeting. Thank you all for coming out here to the western suburbs, the site of the second largest vaccination center in Cook County. And it would not be possible if it was not for Governor Pritzker and County Board President Tony Preckwinkle. So I want to begin by thanking Governor Pritzker, President Preckwinkle, my seatmate, Representative Ford, and my friend and mentor, Majority Leader, Senator Lightford, for working collaboratively to make this heartwarming announcement possible here today. Can you give them a round of applause for making this happen? It has been a long year, to say the least. We have had to stay separated from family and friends. Folks have lost jobs and faced financial hardship. Our kids have struggled with remote learning, removed from their teachers, their friends, and the everyday childhood experiences that help them grow. And we know that, unfortunately, the compounded disparities across our healthcare system meant Black and brown communities bore the brunt of this pandemic. But despite the struggles, we are on the verge of putting this virus in check. As the governor said, we are close, but it hasn't been easy. It has required collaboration, trust, and quick decision-making between the governor, our county executives like President Preckwinkle, mayors like this mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Lightford, and every single one of these mayors standing behind us today, and our legislators in the House and the Senate. It has required constant input and support from community leaders and local health experts. And despite the politicization of basic measures to keep us all safe, I am glad that those of us here today have always agreed on one thing. If we are going to put an end to this pandemic and resume our regular lives, we need to prioritize the vaccine for those who are most at risk and marginalized from access to medical care. That's folks right here in our communities, right here in the western suburbs. And that's why we fought so hard for this location to open up. I want to applaud all those who made this day happen, but particularly the Illinois National Guard. Thank the men and women of the Illinois National Guard who come to work each and every day to keep us safe. I want to thank Pastor Bill Winston and his able assistant, Ms. Melody Winston over there, for working with us in collaboration and partnership to allow us into this space here today. But particularly I want to thank Governor Pritzker, who time and time again answers my call. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for your great leadership. Thank you, President Preckwinkle, for also answering that call. I love bugging her on a Sunday morning, and she always picks up. Because of their leadership, the vaccine will be available to Illinois residents 16 years and older by April 12th. In the meantime, those eligible in the western suburbs will be able to get the vaccine here starting on Friday. Starting on Friday. Yes, I know we are all eager to get back to life. We are ready. You guys were tired of seeing me and my kids on TikTok. You're ready to get back to your normal lives. You don't want to see me dancing anymore. We are all working to make sure that doesn't happen again. We're all working to make sure Illinois has a long-term plan to get and keep this virus in check in the months to come as we rebuild our economy. And hopefully, Governor, that includes the governor soon at some point being able to sign the Black Caucus's legislation passed last week in the House, our fourth and final pillar, healthcare equity, because equity is at the center of every single thing we do. Until then, folks, please don't ease up. We are close. There is indeed a light at the end of this dark tunnel. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, Madam President Preckwinkle. Thank you all for making this day happen. Now, I would like to bring to this podium my friend, our dynamic and fearless leader here in Cook County, Board President Tony Preckwinkle.
Good morning. Grateful to see all of you here today. I want to begin As always, with acknowledgments, our own commissioners, Commissioner Brandon Johnson, in whose district we find ourselves today, Commissioner Frank Aguilar, Commissioner Alma Anaya, Commissioner Dennis Deere, who will also be speaking. He's head of the Health Committee, Cook County Board of Commissioners, and Commissioner Pete Silvestri. Thank you, Commissioners, for joining us. I'm grateful, of course, for our state legislators who are with us, in addition to Speaker Welch, Representative LaShawn Ford, and Majority Leader Kimberly Lightford. We have a number of mayors with us, including Mayor Rory Hoskins in Forest Park. This is his bailiwick. Mayor Jeff Sherwin from Northlake, Mayor Joseph Tamburino from Hillside, Mayor Herbert Hermanick from North Riverside, Mayor Edwina Perkins, Mayor of Maywood, Mayor Katrina Thompson of Broadview, Mayor Kathy Aducci of River Forest. I'm grateful for the presence of all of you. And I want to thank you for joining us here today in Forest Park as we open our largest community vaccination site to date. Governor Pritzker, I want to begin by thanking you. We're very grateful for your help and support, which I'll get to in a little bit. We cannot do these mass vaccination sites without the National Guard and the contract workers who you've provided for us, so thank you. Speaker Welch, I'm very grateful to have a friend in the House. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. You don't have to laugh. That's not true, but you shouldn't laugh. I'm pleased to be here today to mark another opportunity to ensure that residents can be vaccinated in the most expeditious manner. When fully operational, this site will be able to provide nearly 5,000 vaccines a day. So we're going to start out with about 1,000, Governor, is that right? That's right. And we're going to ramp up, okay? Also starting today, in collaboration with the state of Illinois, the 5 Cook County community vaccination sites will now be open to all Illinois residents who are eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine, including those in 1B+. As I said, this would not be possible without the help of Governor Pritzker and the continued support of the Illinois National Guard and our staff, of course, from Cook County Health. We're very grateful to all of you. There's so much behind-the-scenes work that goes into the opening of these sites, and I'm grateful for everyone's collaboration. I'm proud of all the good work that's being done to expand fair and equitable access to the COVID-19 vaccine for all residents in Cook County and now to all residents in Illinois. Our most vulnerable communities have been disproportionately affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And in order to get on the other side of this difficult time, we need to continue vaccinating as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. Having mass community vaccination sites is the only way we will beat this virus. Last week, we celebrated an important milestone in our national vaccine efforts. President Biden was committed to 100 million doses of the vaccine in 100 days, and we met the goal in just 58 days. As our vaccinations increase and the number of COVID-19 cases decrease, every day we're moving closer to our goal to return to normalcy. There's still much work to be done, however. Please stay safe. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as you're able, and of course to wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. Now it's my pleasure to bring forward Majority Leader Kim Lightford of the Illinois Senate. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Good morning. I bring greetings to all of you on behalf of the 4th Senate District and welcome you to the Village of Forest Park under Mayor Rory Hoskins. And I realized that when I pass my purse, I pass my glasses. So I'm pretty sure I'll be swift. I just want to ditto, if I could just ditto the governor, the speaker, the president, I believe they really said it all. The importance of vaccinations, the importance of bringing this facility to communities who were disproportionately impacted by this virus. I just want to add to that it's critical that we continue to move as quickly as possible to allow our most vulnerable residents to get vaccinated so that they're able to defend themselves against this deadly virus. By opening this mass vaccination site here in Forest Park, we ensure every community member and surrounding communities, regardless of race or color, has access to this life-saving vaccination. There is no other pathway to getting families back together and our lives back to normal than ensuring Illinois residents get the opportunity to be vaccinated. It is vital that people over age 65, and I was so glad to hear the governor's percentage of seniors that have been vaccinated, in addition to our frontline workers, that they're able to get their vaccines as well. And even though supplies are still slightly limited, thank you, President Biden, I urge people to be patient. Eligibility is continuing to expand. And if you're eligible, I encourage you to go to vaccine.cookcountyillinois.gov to register and set up an appointment. I'm also pleased that many of the vaccination sites can easily and equitably serve our diverse communities. Making sure minority communities who have been hit so hard by this virus have access to the vaccines is very important. I also want to take this opportunity to remind everyone that even though vaccines are starting to be administered more and more each day, we still need to take precautions. Keep wearing masks, keep watching your distance, and keep washing your hands. If we all are patient, respectful, and work together, as you see the collaboration of our governor, our speaker, and our Cook County president, we will get to the other side of this pandemic. The more cautious we are, the more our communities can reopen. That means more opportunities to support local restaurants and other small businesses safely. I know this winter has been especially hard, but we're on the right track right now. Let's all do our part to keep it that way. And before I leave the podium, I'd like to acknowledge all of the mayors from West Cook County, and a special thank you to the Illinois National Guard. I was raised by an Illinois National Guardsman, so I totally get it. So thank you all for joining us on today. Thank you, and I have the opportunity to introduce my colleague who also shares the village of Forest Park with me in the 4th Senate District, and that's Representative LaShawn Ford.
Thank you, Kimberly, Leader Lightford. And I just want to thank the governor. I think everyone got a round of applause but you, so I think we should give the governor a big round of applause. Today is a special day. When I look at the way Madam President speaks, I mean, she's a teacher at heart. Did you guys notice how she was teaching us all how to do things? I saw you, and thank you for calling out everyone, because I didn't have a list, and you did it, Madam President, and you did it well. I really appreciate it. Today is important because it's a connection to the community. It's easy to throw up a site, but when you pick a site that's meaningful, you're going to get better results. And this site was chosen, I believe, by Speaker Welch and the rest of the team here, because this site has a connection with the community. If we're going to get people to take the vaccines, we have to have a location where people trust. And people trust the Winstons. They trust Melody Winston, and they trust Pastor Bill Winston, and that's going to help us get people into this site because they believe in the location that they will be walking in. So, Governor, Madam President, Speaker Welch, I do believe that this site will be very successful because it was chosen with great discernment, and I do believe that people follow Bill Winston, and they will follow him right here into this site. Finally, I would like to thank the Illinois Guardsmen for their efforts in protecting us here in Illinois and keeping us safe and sacrificing so much to make sure that Illinois is protected. And I also can't leave without thanking the medical teams across the state. This has been tough, and Governor, I know that we wouldn't have a positivity rate of 2-point-something if you bent and if you didn't stand firm. So thank you for standing firm, and I do believe because of your leadership, Illinois will see the end of this horrible virus sooner than later. With that said, I would like to introduce my friend, Brandon Commissioner Johnson.
All right.
Hey, good morning. As the other teacher in this body here, I'm going to try my best to be swift. Social studies teachers have a propensity to be a little long-winded. Our region certainly needed some good news. Thank you, Madam President. I know our region needed some really good news. I know at least half of our region had a tough day yesterday with your brackets. And as difficult as this year has been, what impresses me the most is the ability of our different levels of government to collaborate and to do right by the people of the state of Illinois. And so with that, of course, appreciate the work of Governor Pritzker and his heart being all in this battle. Of course, the president of the Cook County Board of Commissioners is evidence of why you need women leading. I believe we all do better when we have women in the forefront. Governor Pritzker, you mentioned earlier there are several, thank you, that's right. So Governor Pritzker, I know you mentioned earlier that there are a lot of commissioners here. That's just how we do in the Cook County Board, especially those of us who organize the west side, western suburbs. We always roll deep. That's how we do it. And as the most functioning body of government, no, I'm teasing, kind of. But in all seriousness, there are mayors that are here today who represent, a region of Cook County that, let's just be honest, sometimes it plays second to the city of Chicago. And I am grateful for the leadership of these mayors. Madam President, Mayor Harvey did show up. I think we got everybody but him, so Andre Harvey of Bellwood is here. And I got you, Madam President. He's also the inspiration. Folks were trying to understand why I'm in a suit today, because I knew Speaker Welch and Mayor Harvey would be here today. I had to make sure the brother didn't disappoint the audience today. But it has been a very, very long, difficult road. Many of our educators have suffered through some of the most difficult times. Our families, as Speaker Welch has indicated, have struggled to not just understand this moment, but to sometimes struggle in isolation. As Leader Lightford has indicated, that families have had to endure some of the greatest loss that we have seen in a generation, in a lifetime. And that's hard to deal with. And having the access to a vaccine and a site that is accessible to communities that have been devastated and hit the hardest during this pandemic, it's so crucial because it's a matter of saving lives. That's a big deal. I don't want us to lose sight of the fact that there are over hundreds of thousands of families won't be the same because of this pandemic. And so what do we do as a body of government at every single level to ensure that we're not just creating opportunities for folks to get vaccinated, but we're doing everything in our power, as Speaker Welch indicated, to make sure that we're signing and passing legislation that can transform our communities once and for all. I appreciate the speaker's game. You like how he waited till the governor was here to talk about signing bills? So since we're talking about signing bills, Governor, no, I'm teasing. I won't give you another assignment. But let's do everything in our power to ensure that we don't just simply go back to normal. How about we set a new course and a new pathway where families that can barely afford to make ends meet can have the ability to pay their rent? How about we make sure we innovate our education system so that children who have been shut out because of lack of access to Wi-Fi, that they have the ability to actually get access to some of the most dynamic teaching and programs that are available? Can we do that as a state? Can we make sure that every single level of government, from the state to the cities to the county board, that we do everything in our power to keep people safe and move us to a pathway of recovery? And with that, I have my brother from the west side of Chicago, you all, the chairman of the Health and Hospitals Committee, my dear friend and brother, Commissioner Dennis Deere.
Every time I speak, I get up and I ask, God is good and all the time. One more time. God is good and all the time. Listen, we are here for a purpose, and that purpose is vaccination. The most vulnerable need to be vaccinated. Those that have asthma, you probably saw me sit down back there. Here's my asthma pump. I had to take my asthma pump because of the change in weather this morning. Those people need to be vaccinated. Vaccination is important. Vaccination is real. COVID is real. I'll end with this. If you always do what you've always done, you're going to always get what you've always got. I'll introduce to you my good friend, the mayor of Forest Park, Roy Hoskins.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. On behalf of the Village of Forest Park, its Board of Commissioners, its employees, its residents, I want to welcome everyone to the village. We are so excited simply to do our part in the effort to crush this virus. And so I want to thank, of course, Governor Pritzker for coming to Forest Park today, for President Preckwinkle, and of course all the legislative leaders. You know, you're good when you're represented by the Speaker of the House and the Senate Majority Leader, LaShawn Ford. Thank you, Representative Ford. But again, this is about Forest Park doing its part. We've always believed that we have some of the best real estate in Cook County because we're accessible. We're close to the city, 2 train lines, bus service. So to the extent that we're concerned about equity and delivering the vaccine, we believe this is the suitable site. And let me just say that back in December, when we all had a feeling that supplies of vaccine were going to increase, Melody Winston did not hesitate to contact me and say, let the state know that we're available. So we did let the state know, and we let the county know. Yeah, I think I called Commissioner Johnson sometimes too early, saying, where's the PPE? You know, what can we do to support the first responders in Forest Park? So we're simply happy to have all the dignitaries here. You know, a year into this pandemic, things are looking much better. We really appreciate the assistance of the county's services, emergency management and response services, for building out this facility in no time. We appreciate the Guard for their service in administering the vaccines. Forest Park's fire department is ready to staff this and support this facility. Our police are ready to supplement the county efforts, and we simply want to do our part. Let me close by saying that another reason why it's so suitable that this location is a vaccine distribution site is that in the history of Forest Park, the community has always been about service and doing its part, whether it's serving in the military or other ways. In World War II era, This site was used to produce torpedoes in the war effort. So today, this is part of another mass mobilization effort led by our federal government, state, and the county. So one more time, thank you, Governor. Thank you, President Preckwinkle, and all the leaders assembled here. And now I'll turn it over to Israel Rocha, CEO of Cook County Health Systems. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I want to thank Governor Pritzker, Speaker Welsh, President Preckwinkle, and all the elected officials who are joining us today as we open up Cook County Health's 5th large-scale vaccination center. It brings me great pride and immense hope that every time we open a new site, with each site that opens, more people have access to the COVID-19 vaccine. And the more people who get vaccinated, the closer we are to returning back to our normal lives. But just as critical as the number of sites that we open and where the sites are located, we choose these sites carefully to ensure that they were equitably distributed throughout suburban Cook County. We want to make sure that the most impacted by the pandemic have access to the life-saving vaccine. We are encouraged by reports that vaccine supply will be increasing. Over the last few weeks, we have seen the impacts of federal policies that have supported efforts to speed up the vaccination process. We are seeing more vaccine as evidenced by our numbers. On February 19th, we hit 100,000 vaccines through these sites, and those were 100,000 vaccine doses administered. Last Thursday, less than a month later, we reached 250,000 administered by those sites, and this week, we're well on our way to hit 300,000 at those administered, and we are heading towards our goal of 1 million doses administered through these sites. And while these are important milestones, we have a long way to go. There are millions of people who want vaccine. We continue to ask for your patience. The site today, as you heard, and all throughout our mass sites are also built with additional capacity. So we want to make sure that as we encourage patience, we want to let all the residents know as we get more vaccine, each of the sites can go up. You heard the governor say it starts at 1,000. We can then go really quickly up to 3,500, and each of them have capacity to almost exceed 5,000 when we extend hours, and we're able to reach more individuals. So for those who have been at all of our openings, who've heard me say, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Our pace in the marathon is quickening, but today we are still a little bit ways from the finish line, and we ask people to continue to wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your mask, be patient, and we make a commitment that we always make to you each time we speak. We will be with you through the duration, and we will make sure that every resident who wants a vaccine is able to get one. We thank you for your support. We thank everyone for their leadership to helping us get here, and we look forward to helping continue to make sure that together we eliminate COVID-19 from our history. Thank you. Sorry. Now it's my pleasure to bring back up Governor Pritzker for question and answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Israel. Thank you very much, and happy to take questions from members of the media.
Good morning, Governor. Thank you. And there is still some questions, of course, about confusion of getting appointments. By opening it up to more people, while some are thrilled, others who are seniors are saying, I still didn't get mine. What do you tell those folks about that frustration, and where are we at in getting to the bridge phase as well?
So as I announced a little earlier, we're at about 64% of our 65 and older population getting vaccinated. We'll be moving to the bridge phase when we get to 70%. And I think you've seen that we're adding about 1% of the 65 and over population every day. So we'll, rapidly we're moving toward the next phase. I think secondly, with regard to appointments, it is true that we don't have enough vaccine anywhere in the nation to satisfy demand. However, we're not in the next phase of eligibility for everybody 16 and over yet. We have 3 more weeks, and during this period there are a number of particular clinics focused on those who are 65 and over. And of course, we're encouraging people who are 65 and over to make sure that they get vaccinated. In addition, we're into our 3rd round of visiting all the long-term care facilities across the state of Illinois. So people who didn't get it the first time around, because maybe they were a little hesitant, got it the second time around and have it available the third time around, in addition to staff in those locations. So we're making an enormous amount of progress. And again, the number of people, adults across the state that are getting vaccinated is at a reasonably high rate. Craig. With the what hospital? Loretto. Yep. Well, it's unacceptable to let people jump the line, especially if people have clouded their way through to jump the line. But anybody really that's stepping ahead of somebody that's been eligible, someone who's vulnerable, as we have prioritized, doesn't get a vaccine because someone who's not vulnerable jumps the line, including, I gather, Eric Trump. So it is true that the leaders at Loretto, who I gather through some internal investigation have been revealed to be partially or fully responsible for this, should be reprimanded and held responsible and held accountable.
Could we hear from Senator Lightford and Representative you are on the board of directors at Loretto. Now we're hearing of this new development this morning of a Gold Coast jewelry store getting vaccination. When you're talking today about equity.
Sure, and that doesn't change the fact that what they did wrong is wrong. So each storyline that continues to come out is wrong. As the vice chairman of the Loretto Hospital, our board submitted a statement. We have reprimanded the president and CEO of the hospital extensively. Sanctions were placed, financial charges as well, so I don't know that there needs to be any further discussion. We're here today because we are excited about this location being opened here in the village of Forest Park.
Should they be fired?
They've been sanctioned by the board.
And what does that mean? I mean, have people just...
I'm not telling you what we did as a board. That was an executive decision behind closed doors. Neither one of them were pleased, of course. Perhaps thought we were a little heavy-handed, and I assure you it won't happen again.
Did they apologize for taking any of these steps to help other people? What can you tell us in essence what they said?
They're very sorry. Our president of the board, George Miller, he states that he takes full ownership of the challenge that he's put the Loretto Hospital in. He's very remorseful, and so is Mr. Ahmad. As the board, we've asked them to just share with us everything. That way we won't continue to be shocked by the Black Club paper expressing more digging, more investigation to find out all that they had done. However, we've done about 14,000 vaccinations at the Loretto Hospital. We were focused on the Austin community. As part of one of the programs was to go out into the community and to get those who were not comfortable with the vaccination or didn't have access to the hospital to go to them. I think they did a poor job in going to the Trump Tower. They did, however, express that out of the 73 individuals that were vaccinated, 65 of them were residents from the west side and south side of Chicago, and they were essential workers. So we're talking 5 individuals who did not fit the parameter is what the whole big story broke out about. And of course the silliness of Mr. Trump's son. He was not vaccinated at the Trump Towers. The guy doesn't wear a mask. He doesn't support. I mean, just think of it, please. He doesn't support the whole idea. It was just a big joke that went on social media that also should not have happened.
You mentioned you asked them if they had disclosed all of the other things they have done. Are we going to hear any other bombshells of other places they've gone to help clouded people get vaccinations, or is this the end of it?
You may be in line for another piece of information.
Why not
Can you
just...
tell us what that is?
No.
Besides the Gold Coast police.
Right, no. Thank you.
hospital?
No, but we've reiterated to all of those who receive allocations in the state of Illinois that unfortunately, if they don't follow the what we've set out in our phases, and if they let people jump the line, that the consequence could be less vaccine going to that location. So I don't think anybody wants that. Everybody wants vaccine to keep flowing, and let's be clear. As far as I'm concerned, we've heard about an incident here, an incident there. They're isolated. We've vaccinated 4.7 million doses into people's arms without much of this sort of thing going on. So I feel really good about the folks who are administering vaccines all across the state doing the right thing.
But doesn't it at the same time, you haven't even had yours yet? Isn't it somewhat frustrating to hear that when I'm sure you would like to get your vaccine?
Well, that has nothing to do with my decision not to get vaccinated yet. I want to make sure that others are able to go ahead of me, not obviously people who've been, pushed to the front who aren't eligible, but others, seniors and those who have underlying conditions like cancer and diabetes and so on. My frustration is when anybody doesn't follow the rules here. Everybody suffers, but I think the hospital is dealing with it, and I will say that I'm very proud of the way that we've handled this all across the state, and it's been a massive endeavor. And as I've said before, we're the best among the top 10 states, the biggest states in the country in terms of per capita administration of vaccine into people's arms, which I'm happy about.
Governor, can you tell us
Yeah.
why you felt the need to pump $35 million into your campaign at this point? You're officially running for re-election, as I expect that money is going to be used for?
No, let me start with what I've said all along here, which is I'm focused on getting us past this pandemic, keeping people safe and healthy in the state of Illinois. Any of that, the support for my committee is really designed as a preventative measure in the event that Republicans continue in any more public way to try to attack the Democratic agenda of standing up for working people or to, frankly, lie about the Democratic agenda. We're doing what's right for people all across the state of Illinois, making sure that working families get what they need to stay in their homes, to get jobs, to raise their wages, et cetera. And so those resources will be used simply to fend off those illegitimate attacks.
One more vaccine question, if we could. So as we expand those who are eligible across the state, and that keeps ramping up in the coming weeks, can you talk about anything that's going on behind the scenes to shore up the state system, if you're going to get that many more phone calls, that many more clicks on websites, people trying to get those appointments as they become available? Because obviously we've had some issues in the state with the unemployment system in the early days of the pandemic. So just anything to say about what's being done to make sure we're ready for the onslaught of calls from more and more people.
Right. Well, the systems, so to be clear, the computer systems that are used for making appointments, those have not been falling apart. There's one instance here or there. But remember, we've got 97 local public health departments. We've got hundreds and hundreds of pharmacies supported by the federal government and state resources as well to get vaccines into people's arms. And those systems work reasonably well. In terms of people being able to call in, as you know, we opened up a site so that people can call in, dial in. People who don't have access to the internet. We have hundreds, thousands of calls that come in every day. People are able to make appointments that way as well. We've not had any glitches or challenges, problems there. It may happen, but we'll be on top of that. And to be honest with you, I think that's actually going reasonably well. What isn't, and what is most challenging, is making sure that we get the numbers of vaccines that we need in the state of Illinois. What I mean by it isn't is that I would like everybody to be able to get vaccinated today. And the the truth is that as you look forward, and we have about 3 weeks of visibility, it looks much better, especially with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that is going to arrive, we are told, the week of March 29th. There are going to be millions of doses available of that, on top of the Pfizer and Moderna, which continue to flow and increase every week. And in fact, there's more manufacturing capability there as well. So, as we get into April, and it's one reason why April 12th is a good date for us to move to universal eligibility, we're going to see more and more millions, really, of doses of vaccine coming into the state.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.